Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Jaylen Brown was visibly happy when Jason Tatum ignored Steve Kerr. Jaylen Brown certainly did not take issue with Jason Tatum ignoring Steve Kerr. Jaylen Brown was all smiles after the Boston Celtics blew out the Golden State Warriors 125-85 at Chase Center on Monday. While Brown was delighted by the nature of the win, he also appeared quite happy when Jason Tatum ignored Warriors head coach Steve Kerr after the game. Tatum was speaking to Stephen Curry at the time and Kerr waited next to them for a bit so that he could perhaps say a word or two. He soon realized the Celtics superstar was paying no attention to him and walked off, much to Brown's delight. To be fair to Tatum, though, you could see him briefly share a hug with Kerr a while later. It could just be that he didn't notice the 59-year-old when he was speaking to Curry. Someone who did notice that Kerr was standing there was Brown, and these two had no interest in speaking to each other. They just awkwardly stood there and even avoided eye contact. It would appear that Tatum might have put the events from this past summer behind him, but Brown hasn't. Tatum, of course, was part of Team USA's roster for the 2024 Paris Olympics, but found himself on the bench for a lot longer than he'd have liked. He averaged just 17.7 minutes per game in the tournament, and Kerr, who was the head coach, didn't even play him in 2 of the 6 contests. Kerr stated he felt like an idiot for not playing Tatum against Serbia in the first game, but then decided not to play him again when the teams met in the semifinal. It was just an odd situation all around, but to Tatum's credit, he didn't make much of a fuss about it. While Tatum kept quiet in the summer, Brown did not. He was not part of the Olympics roster and was upset about it. What made matters worse was his Celtics teammate Derek White being brought in as a replacement over him when Kawhi Leonard had to later withdraw from the team due to injury. Brown had a cryptic reaction to White replacing Leonard on Team USA. He appeared to hint that not being a Nike athlete played a part in his exclusion. USA Basketball Managing Director Grant Hill stated, though, that Brown's exclusion was purely a basketball decision. He denied there was any conspiracy involved, but the Celtics star wasn't buying it. Brown called out Hill for suggesting he was a conspiracy theorist, and those comments might have just further fueled the rage within him. The summer events meant there would be a little bit of added tension in the air when the Celtics faced the Warriors this season. The first meeting on November 6, 2024, saw the Warriors surprisingly win 118-112 at TD Garden, and the Celtics managed to get revenge in this one. Tatum led the way with 22 points, 9-20 FG, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals, while Brown had 17 points, 8-14 FG, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. With the game being so lopsided, the two didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter. The Celtics improved to 30-13 on the season with this win. They had stumbled a bit recently and bounced back in style here. It will be interesting to see how the Celtics fare in their next game, as they take on the Los Angeles Clippers at the Intuit Dome on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. As for the Warriors, they have dropped to 21-21. NBA World reacts to Steph Curry's blunt admission about Warriors' problem. The Golden State Warriors suffered a 125-85 defeat against the Boston Celtics, leaving fans frustrated and looking for answers. Warriors star Steph Curry finished with 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in the loss, shooting 4 of 12 from beyond the three-point line, per ESPN. He was one of just 2 Warriors to score in double figures, with the Celtics star Jason Tatum leading the way with 22 points. Following the loss, Curry openly addressed the team's struggles, pointing out a recurring issue that has plagued them this season. "A big part of our season has been when we can't score, we lose spirit, we lose life, we lose competitiveness," Curry said. The Dubs sharpshooter emphasized that while they might overcome this against weaker opponents, facing championship-caliber teams exposes their vulnerabilities, as shared by Anthony Slater of The Athletic. Sitting at 21-21 and outside the play-in tournament spots, the Warriors have struggled to maintain their competitive edge. Meanwhile, fans quickly responded to Curry's remarks. Some blamed head coach Steve Kerr, suggesting that he has lost control of the locker room. That comes from the head coach. He's lost the locker room, and it actually happened last year, letting Draymond run the team. Kerr has no lost this team and they gotta move on, a commenter pointed out. Time for a change, Steven ASAP, and it all starts February 6th, another suggested. We just not good enough to beat a team dog, let's be honest, one wrote. NBA reporter boldly claims Warriors not interested in Jimmy Butler trade. Despite past reporting and Miami Heat's Jimmy Butler's preferred destinations, one NBA media member believes there is someone else on the Golden State Warriors' radar. Given the lack of a blockbuster trade activity, perhaps ESPN's own Young Misuk's bold claim is true. On a recent episode of the ESPN podcast, The Hoop Collective, hosted by NBA insider Brian Windhorst, Young Misuk declared there is a reason for Golden State going cold on trading for the past his prime Heat star. If you only have so many assets, I'm holding them until a true superstar, that is a franchise-altering superstar, becomes available to take that swing, Young Misuk said. If you go and give up some of these assets now for a Nikola Vucevic, a Jimmy Butler, which I don't think there's interest in Butler. But if they were to do that, you can't take a swing then if things go bad in Milwaukee with Giannis this summer. Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Warriors are no strangers to this poorly played word association game. Before Antetokounmpo led the Bucks to the 2021 NBA championship, trade rumors aggressively mentioned the Greek star as a candidate to join the Light Years franchise. However, the Bucks made a timely trade for Drew Holiday. The rest is history. Yet, as history tends to do, it meets its loop. Once again, Antetokounmpo, despite the Bucks significantly recovering from a 2-8 start, sitting fourth in the Eastern Conference, an idea of the loyal superstar leaving the small-market franchise re-emerged. While the Bucks' recent regular season run warrants attention, the past two playoff campaigns boil the franchise's pressure to a massive bubble. If they don't at least make an Eastern Conference Finals, or perhaps the NBA Finals, it's plausible to fathom a trade request in the offseason. However, whether the Warriors have the assets necessary to trade for Antetokounmpo is another conversation. Golden State doesn't want to make a trade to mortgage a future, as Stephen Curry and Draymond Green have mentioned, and their general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. has showcased. However, the Warriors trading for Antetokounmpo at this point in Curry's career would be like mortgaging a house to rent a bachelor pad in New York, leaving you with no money for rent. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.